Balaam receives the word of the Lord. He hears God's words of blessing for Israel and speaks them. But I have to reiterate, he's not from God. He's not one of God's prophets. Just because God uses someone in some way doesn't mean they are his or that they are submitted to God and following him. Balaam's prophecy talks about himself as one who falls down with his eyes open. He's going into some sort of trance or something when God speaks to him. It's supernatural. This is another warning that just because something is supernatural, it doesn't mean it's from God. God was behind this blessing. But let me show you what was behind Balaam. It wasn't God. Remember, Balaam's not seeking God's word because he wants to hear and obey God's voice. He's doing this for Israel's enemy because they want to destroy Israel. Balaam instructs Balak to do an animal sacrifice offering. They do this on the high places. God hates high place sacrifices. This is offending God, not honoring him. In the beginning of chapter 24, it calls these sacrifices the use of sorcery. Balaam is trying to conjure something up. I guess that's what he's used to in his work with demons. They like the show and pageantry and blood sacrifices. God doesn't like sacrifices. He likes obedience. And that's not because he's some megalomaniac. It's because obedience is an act of love and brings life. And God is all about love and life. Balaam is not God's prophet. He's trying to earn his audience with God, and he only speaks God's words because he's fearing for his own life. Be wary of prophets who talk about their supernatural encounters. Remember, just because they're talking about God doesn't mean their supernatural experiences are from God or from a good place. Balaam had a supernatural experience with a donkey speaking and saw the angel of the Lord, but it was because his heart was twisted and God wasn't pleased with him.